Hello Fantasy Faithfuls and welcome to Season 2, Episode 13 of CSD Head-2-Head. Today we have two new running backs in Chris Thompson and Jordan Howard. Thompson is playing against the Green Bay Packers in Week 3 and Howard plays the Arizona Cardinals.
Little delay to Thompson. Got a nice block and it springs into the open field. Thompson inside the 20. And a touchdown for Thompson.
Starting off, we're looking at Chris Thompson's rushing and receiving patterns. Thompson is one of the most unique runners in the entire league. There's no clear favorite side to where he runs the ball, but the outside runs clearly dominate the play calling, with 23% going outside the left end and 29% outside the right end. He lacks runs up the middle and outside the guards, but this is not something that should worry you about him, due to the fact that he's a pretty inconsistent runner when running in those lanes. Speaking of inconsistent, he is very proficient in running to the outside, being 1 yard above league average running outside the ends, but gaining very few yards outside the guards. However, as I said, this should not worry you too much. Gaining a ton of yards to where he runs the most is a fantastic feature for a back to have. His receiving patterns are as even as they come. There's no scheming that can be done against this. He sees a third of all his targets to each zone in the passing game, with 33% all around the short zones. What we can see though is that he is far superior in catching the ball when it's thrown to the left side of the field. This is very good when playing the Packers, as they are much better at defending against patch catching bats to the right side of the field. Thompson has had a touchdown rate of 4% over the last 3 years, which is on the higher side in the entire NFL for running backs. His yards per catch fits perfectly with how he catches the ball. He does not gain too much to the right while being 3 yards above league average to the left. This will be very dangerous in Week 3.
3 wide receivers in the game. This time it's Jordan Howard. Big hole, and it's Howard taking it in for a touchdown.
Now let's take a look at Jordan Howard's rushing and receiving patterns. Howard is similar to Thompson in that his rushing patterns are somewhat all over the place. Most backs have runs to either side of the center as their main lane, but neither of these backs do. Howard only runs 9% of his carries up the middle, while the league average is 28%. This is, however, really good when going against the Cardinals, who defend up the middle like their life depended on it. Howard carries the ball very well when he gets the opportunity. The only bad running lane for him are outside the right guard and right tackle, which still accounts for 26% of all his runs. He makes up for this by combining his best yards per carry lane with the lane he runs to the most, which is the left end. Look for runs to bounce outside to the left against the Cardinals, who lack defending capabilities in that running lane. Howard's receiving is more of a traditional running back pattern. He sees most passes to the outside zones, while the middle is underrepresented with 41% to the left, 18% to the middle, and 42% to the right. He probably should not even see that many targets, as he has issues catching the ball in all zones. His best zone has 70% catch rate, which is 3% worse than Thompson's worst zone. His touchdown rate over the last 3 years have been a modest 1.5%, which is very, very low. This is mainly due to only having 1 receiving touchdowns on 60 receptions. Back to his receiving, we see that he probably should have even less targets than he already get. He is below league average in every zone. Combining this with not catching the ball, and you have a recipe for disaster.
Howard left side to the 10, to the 5. Game over.
Now let's have a look at how they perform in different situations. Accounting for what they've done in the past and in the first 2 weeks of 2018, we see that both of them perform a little bit better when they play at home. Good for Thompson, who plays in DC this week. Both of them also performs better against AFC teams, which is unfortunate as both of them play in the NFC and face NFC teams this week. Howard is particularly weak against NFC teams. What separates the two is that Thompson performs better against teams with a below 500 record, while Howard steps up his game in those matchups that are really tough. Thompson's best situation is playing at home versus a below 500 record AFC team. Howard's best situation is playing at home versus an above 500 record AFC team.
Buzzes to Thompson again. Chris Thompson stays on his feet. He's in. Touchdown.
Time to look a little closer at the two defenses they will face in week 3. The Packers have given up 4.8 yards per carry over the first 2 weeks, while the Cardinals have given up 3.9. The Packers have a hard time defending passes to running backs that go over the middle, which is a plus for Thompson. Furthermore, they have given up 8 yards per catch to running backs to the left side of the field, Thompson's best receiving zone. However, they stop the run very well in Thompson's best running lanes, the left end and the right end. The Cardinals can't defend the run when it bounces to the outside, to the left at all, which is perfect for Howard. However, they are very stout when defending outside the guards, where Howard has his second and third most rushes. They have let up 14.5 yards per carry to every run outside the left tackle, so the left side of the field looks to be big this weekend. The Packers have all in all defended against running backs very well, only giving up 16.5 points, while the Cardinals average 25.8 but have played against Todd Gurley too. Comparing their numbers, Howard wins the one-game ceiling with 20.1 against Thompson's 16.8. Howard also wins the one-game floor easily with 7.6 points against Thompson's 6.6. However, the risk of them not reaching their projection this week is a huge win for Thompson, being at 50% for him and 95% for Howard, which means extremely risky. I have them projected to score 11.4 points and 15.1. With the risk in mind, this is somewhat even here, and we have to look at the pros and cons to decide who to start. Thompson's pros and cons, we start with the Packers, who have a hard time defending against pass-catching running backs, and even though the Packers defend the run very well, Thompson is not reliant on his runs to gain points. His touchdown rate is a huge plus, while the situation against a good NFC team is not the best. The Cardinals' run defense has a lot of holes that fit Howard well, and he has a chance to be dangerous. His ceiling, floor, and projections are well above Thompson's, but he also comes with a huge amount of risk. My pick, after comparing all the factors such as rushing, receiving, trends, numbers, pros, and cons, is Jordan Howard. This was an extremely difficult pick for me. There is much going for Thompson in this matchup as well, but with the numbers and Cardinals' run defense, this can be Howard's 2018 breakout game. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more weekly content. And as always, the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror. Hello Fantasy Faithful, I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to check out more of them right here and here. In case you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat.